All right, in this video, we are gonna talk about the background for the Analogous. So in my Analogous colors, I feel like I had kind of really darker colors. Even though I added white to them, they still kind of came out relatively dark. So I'm gonna really lighten up my background. I'm gonna start with a grayed out version of my blue-green. So I made a really light gray and added some of the green, so it was super light. And I'm gonna start with that green and work my way through the purples and into the blues. And then I'm gonna, by adding some of the blue violet into it, so we can transition back to the blue violet where the green is. So we'll see how this goes. What I did too also, when I got to the end of my foreground, I kind of hit that blue violet right here, the second to last box. So all I did is added a little white to it and made that my final box. So that's something else you can do. Just don't make it gray, you know, because your background's gray. Gray is exclusive for the foreground, or for the background, I'm sorry. All right, so I'm gonna do my first one. I'm gonna start where the violet ended. And as I go to paint, I'm noticing I do have some smaller shapes here. So I might combine some of them if they're a little bit too small, so I can create a good pattern. So I'll do this one, and then this one I'm going to add a little bit more of that blue violet to the color to change it. I'm going to have to add a little more because I feel like the white's really absorbing. There we go. I should use my scrap paper as well to kind of notice the change. I also need to either clean my brush after I mix my colors or use just one brush for stirring, for mixing. All right, let's see. That's good enough, and I'll do that one here. So you can notice that I have my contrast and my foreground to my background. I have gray in my background. Okay, so I'm doing a kind of a lighter background because my foreground colors are so dark. And then I have gray in my background, and then I'm going to show some kind of transition with my colors. So by adding the blue violet, if it gets too violety or blue and I want to run out of kind of a direction to go, I can always just start adding more gray to it as well, just to kind of keep the transition going. All right, let's do my next color. Add a little more of this blue violet to that green. It's a really cool kind of like grayed out sagey color. And as long as the colors change, you're in good shape. So the progression just keeps going. So this is definitely a little more blue than the last one. I should have cleaned my brush off because this is a small shape. But I'm painting with just the tip of my brush, not small space. Let me rinse this off. Way too much paint. Way too much paint. There we go. And let me get the shape in. Again, try to make nice edges in your shapes. Try to make sure you're getting all the little white dots. Do not leave any of that white paper exposed, okay? You need to have all the shapes, there we go, filled in, and no white areas left behind. All right, so then I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going with this back and forth motion with my colors and keep adding more of the blue violet into this green as I go along. Okay, nice subtle transition. All right, next video I'm going to post, I'm going to do a time lapse of the rest of the background so you can see kind of how it goes through to the end.